Hello artists! Today we're going to finish making our clay mirrors by adding color. We're going to use a few different materials to add color. The first one that we'll use is oil pastel. Rub the oil pastel on your clay mirror. You want to get lots of color on there so that it's easy to blend. Then you can use your finger to blend the colors. You might notice that the color only stays on the raised surfaces of the clay because of all the great texture you pressed into it. That's the point. This is going to show off all the cool texture you put in your clay. I'm thinking of a rainbow as I choose the colors of oil pastel, and I'm going around my clay mirror in rainbow order. So it starts with red, it goes to violet, then blue, and now I'm using green. If you want your colors to blend together, put two colors next to each other that are close on the color wheel, like green and yellow. Then you can overlap them in the middle and they'll mix together to make a yellow-green. Continue using oil pastel to add color all the way around your clay mirror, making sure you use your finger to blend the color and push it into the clay. This is really important. It's almost like you're adding a colorful polish onto the surface of the clay. You can see here that I've sped up the movie a little bit just so you can see how it turns out. I'm looking at my artwork and going back to add more layers. I'm envisioning how beautiful I want this mirror to be and taking my time to do my best work. Don't worry if your finger gets a little messy. We will wash our hands at the end of art class when we're all done. Next, we're going to use liquid watercolor paints to finish off our projects. You're going to need a small paintbrush, a cup of water to clean it, and you'll be sharing some watercolor paints. You can see the map on top of the box that shows which colors are where. All those parts of your clay that look white, the lower areas that weren't a raised up texture, we're going to use the liquid watercolor to add color into those spaces. I have kind of a yellowish gold area here, and I want to choose a color that's different from that so that it gets into the cracks and I can see the beautiful texture. Because we used oil pastel, which is a pastel that's held together with oil, and now we're using watercolor paints, oil and water do not mix with each other. So the oil pastel creates something called a resist. It resists allowing the watercolor to get to the clay in those parts that are raised up where we put the oil pastel. And it looks so beautiful. We are sharing our watercolor paints, so you must clean your paintbrush well before changing colors. Swish your paintbrush on the bottom of the cup, wipe it on the lip, and then blot it on your messy mat so you don't add too much liquid back into the watercolor paints. You don't want to contaminate the other watercolors for other students who are using them. Add the watercolor paints in thin layers and go all the way around your mirror. You'll notice that when you first put it on, the color looks bright, and when it absorbs into the clay, it becomes a little bit lighter. You can even paint the edges of your clay if you want to. You might notice that I'm using only warm colors. I have a tray of watercolor paints that are warm colors and another tray that has cool colors. That's because warm colors all go beautifully together. And if we mix warm and cool colors, we can sometimes risk creating some muddy colors that we might not want in our artwork. As long as you paint it in thin layers, your watercolor paints should dry and absorb pretty quickly. Then we're going to use our clean paintbrush to paint Mod Podge on top of it. Mod Podge is kind of like a shiny coating. When you brush it on at first, it looks white, but it dries clear and shiny and it locks all of the color in. Use your paintbrush to brush Mod Podge all over the top of your clay mirror, making sure to get into all the little cracks. And that's the last step, friends. You're going to let this dry. When it's dry, I'll be using a special glue to put a mirror on the back of your frame so that when you see that empty circle now, that's going to have a mirror in it where you'll be able to see yourself and show it to your family and hang it up at home. And they're going to be so proud of the hard work you do. When you finish using the Mod Podge, you're going to put your paintbrush into our paintbrush bathtub, which is some soapy water, because we want to make sure that they get really clean. When you're done, please write your name on your messy mat so I know which artist made which beautiful clay mirror. And I'm excited to see your hard work today. Let's have a great art class.